Well, welcome to this session on all things Microsoft Cloud. I'm Dan Wallin with the Cloud Advocate team, and I have two teammates with me as well here. So I have Aisha Bosch and our special guest, April Dunham. So Aisha, what are we going to talk about this time?
Yes, so today we will talk about Power Platform with April. So April, before we jump into Power Platform, why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's April Dunham, and I'm a Power Platform Advocate at Microsoft. So I lead our Power Platform Advocacy team. I kind of got started in the Power Platform early on when they were released about, 6 years ago now, I think is what it was. Before that, I was a developer focused on C# development and a lot of SharePoint and Microsoft Teams development as well. So natural progression really into building low-code solutions with the Power Platform.
Well, tell us, if I haven't ever done Power Platform, let's say, and I'm a developer or maybe not. What can you do with it? What are some of the key features?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots we can do. So Power Platform is a whole low-code application development suite that we have. So we have a few key products. We have Power Apps for rapid application development. We have Power BI for dashboard reporting and analytics. We have Power Virtual Agents for chatbots and intelligent virtual agents. We have Power Automate for workflow automation. And the newest piece of the Power Platform is Power Pages, which is for building secure, scalable, public-facing websites.
Excellent. So lots of choice.
Yes.
If I'm to kind of continue on with that, if I'm a, say, pro level developer, like you mentioned, you've done C#, for example. Let's say that's what I do. Do you feel these still have a role for those type of developers?
Absolutely. So there's this whole concept that you may or may not have heard about called fusion development. So it's that whole idea of having pro code, traditional coders, and low code developers working together to build solutions. So the Power Platform, that's kind of a key focus area that we drive with that. So how can we do integrations with services like, say, Azure with API management to build in and bring in our third-party, first-party APIs? How can we do things like add artificial intelligence into our applications with cognitive services and things like that, or even extend the UI of, say, our Power Apps applications we're building with custom components built in React. So lots of opportunities for the pro dev audience to be able to integrate with the low-code Power Platform functionality as well.
Wow, this is awesome. So Power Platform fits into Microsoft Cloud very well, and we use Power Platform in many solutions, including pro dev solutions, as well as it's actually they work together in terms of building collaborative apps. You can't think of one without another. It's really great to. I use Power Platform a lot to reduce the number of code in my solutions, as well as I can automate stuff without thinking, how am I going to use the SDKs and so on, which is super great. What are the scenarios? Do you have any scenarios to inspire developers about using Power Platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the leading scenario that I always try to bring up is the whole integrating your APIs, right? So bringing data into the applications that you build, whether it's, automations with Power Automate or it's applications with Power Apps. So there's all kinds of need. We have like over almost 700 connectors actually out of the box with the Power Platform to be able to bring in first and third party services. But there's that whole extension. What if I want to bring in custom APIs for my business? Well, we can do that. And one of the cool things that we've been working on recently that really making the story better is tightening that integration with Azure API management. So directly in the Azure portal, we have an export Make It Power Platform connector button there, just so you don't have to do anything additional. You can just easily scale out the APIs that you already have and that you're already building so that low-code developers can consume those in their applications. So that's kind of the one really leading one. And of course, all other integrations across the Microsoft stack with the deep integrations of Microsoft Teams and SharePoint and all of that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love the concept of so many enterprises out there. Number one, they have to build apps more quickly than probably ever before, and they're expected to. But number two, you can't just throw out the data you have, obviously. So what you just mentioned with Azure API management and that type of approach, to me, again, we've been talking in some of the other video series about building blocks, and it really allows you to take advantage of other building blocks without having to reinvent the wheel, sounds like.
Exactly. So you can stay in the tools that you're already using, whether it's Visual Studio, VS Code. We have a Power Platform extension for that, which we can manage and govern the Power Platform with that. Whether it's API management in Azure, we have just not having to leave the experience that you're already in to be able to increase your impact and be able to extend your development team with low code.
That's great. And April, where can developers go visit in terms of resources to learn more about Power Platform?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. So there's the low code dev on Azure site, which has a lot of integrations on how to integrate Power Platform with Azure. There's also a Fusion development Microsoft Learn module that's really good if you're interested in that API story for Power Apps in particular.
Oh, this is awesome. So we will definitely put some links in the screen and description box as well. Thanks for joining us today, April. It was so nice to chatting with you about Power Platform. So if you're interested in learning more about the other clouds and Microsoft under Microsoft Cloud, keep on watching our next videos. Thanks.